Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. People. Where people at? Humans. Not doing too good. Humans having some troubles. We are not doing too well. Humans are down for the count. Big corporations, 100,000 points. Humans got two shots. Corporations are swishing all over the planet, We're gonna talk about some things this morning. Talking about the corporate takeover of the entire planet. Corporate takeover of all nations. You guys know nations don't exist, right? There's no such thing as a nation. Nations stopped existing a very long time ago. It's time that we as people, we as human beings, critical thinking, accept the fact that corporations run the world. There are no nations. That's like believing in Santa Claus. I love Santa Claus. Love me some Kris Kringle, but he's not real. And adults, nations are not real. And we are losing this fight. We are losing. Corporations got us on the rope. We're just constantly getting hit like, oh, hit me again. Call me Sally, hit me again. America's real. Britain, Russia's real. Putin's not lying. Trump is telling the truth. Obama loves me. Boom, boom, boom. Hit me some more. Come on, Democrats, that's the best you can do. Republicans. We're just losing back. We're on the ropes. We are on the ropes, people. We don't talk about drugs today. We want to talk about drugs. Let's talk about some drugs today. I want to talk about the opioid crisis. Because there is no opioid crisis, people. Fake news. There is no opioid crisis at all. Does not exist. You made the whole damn thing up. Big Pharma's lying to you. They're not opioids. They're opioid-ish. And that might be a stretch. Not even opioid-ish. Synthetic drugs aren't even an ish. I'm just being nice calling them an ish. Synthetic drugs are alien compounds that have never been in your body. But it doesn't matter. Nations don't exist. They just exist to confuse you. So we keep cheering this stuff, keep acting like, oh, make America great again. Dummy, America went away a long time ago. It was 1800s. There is no America. But we want to believe. I want to believe. I believe I can fly. Get your opioids, get your high. All right, hold on. All right, I'm gonna stop. I gotta press my button. Get ready. Hopefully the family is in the room. Everybody's in the house. Come up on in the room. Share, invite, bring your friends. We gonna talk about drugs. Yes, let's do some drug talk. Because it's all related. It's all the same thing. And corporations run the planet. They get to tell you what's good, bad, where you can go, who can get off, which can't get off, which when you can get off. All right, the wrong topic. Not go down that road. It's just a thing of self-determination. It's a thing of if you set corporations up to run every daggone thing, you really don't get to decide your world. You don't get to make any self-determinating anything. I was looking at, oh man, I'm gonna make it up because I forgot the name of it. I show the news if y'all want to see it. Otherwise, I'll post a link. Xinjiang province in China, put millions of people in prison, right? People don't have the control. Corporations have the control. They put news out like that because they want to get you to blame China. China's bad. We got to go get China. Meanwhile, China doesn't exist. There's corporations, just big, massive corporations that run the world. They buy the governments. They make all the decisions. And you got people who still believe in these fantasy Santa Claus nations. And it gets us in a lot of trouble. I kind of think that we should stop. I kind of think that we should stop believing in fantasy ideas. I think ideologies get us in trouble. I think that everything's not a corporation we think is. I think that if you have a mission statement, you have a ideology. You have a business plan. You believe in certain things. You know, political parties have those.
You have a mission statement.
I hate my voice. Let me turn that off. You're a corporation. You're a corporate gathering. Morons. No, you're not morons. It's just a corporate gathering of creatures with intellectual, critical thought, skills, and the ability to make up your own mind. And you refuse to. That's why they give you a mission statement. That's why the religions have mission statements. The corporations have mission statements. The political parties have mission statements. Anything with a mission statement is there to make you dumb. They want you to be partial and selective. Like I was talking about Xinjiang province. I'm not pronouncing it wrong. It's okay. I'm an American bigot. Yes, I said I'm an American bigot. Are you? Xinjiang province. The fight against separatists. I always like these words. I always love these words. You always look around the world, they use the same words to play us. Separatism is bad. Isn't it evil? Isn't it evil? People want to separate. Make up their own minds. Self-determined. Be human beings. Live free like everything on the planet. How evil is that? Want to separate. Texas want to be a separatist. Catalonia wants to be separatist. Xinjiang, separatist. Idlib, separatist. All evil. They want to live their own lives? They should be miserable like me. They should go get a job and work for our corporate overlord nations. Because we're just citizens of we're citizens of corporations. Just say it. Say it out loud, admit it. Just breathe into doo-doo. Just breathe into reality. Be an adult. We are citizens of industries. We're citizens of corporations. And I was thinking about opioids. I look around, 200,000, over 200,000 Americans have been killed by synthetic opioid-ish compounds made in laboratories by big corporations that bought various sectors of the government, murdering our brothers, our sisters, our family. And we're not doing a damn thing about it. Not a politician is doing a damn thing about it, but yet 3,000 Americans died on 9/11. And they don't have any idea who did 9/11. They have no idea. They're lying. It was terrorists in an airplane. No, it was. They just lying. Lying as a day is long. Everybody knows that. The whole world knows that. Time for people in the U.S. borders figure that out. Because I'm going to stop saying America one day. America doesn't exist. They killed 3,000 people, and so they went and murdered 5 million cents. But Big Pharma killed over 200,000 Americans, put millions more in prison. Through the DEA, through Big Pharma, through your Washington, your federal government, spreading opioids around the planet. It's funny, you watch the news, they blame China. China said, what the hell I do? Bringing fentanyl. Let me show you something. Opioids are natural, people. Yes, somebody asked, is this a poppy behind? This is a poppy. Isn't it pretty? In its natural form, the way we've eaten it. Ever since we were marsupials. I always like to go back because I believe the longest running clinical trial study in the history of the human race is what we've always done. I just believe in the tried and the tested. You're holistic. You're a hippie. No, actually, I'm not. I don't know what that even means. I'm a human being. I know human beings have been eating things since the beginning, and their bodies are well adapted to eating those things. We learned over time as our brains developed, whether that was a god or some aliens or microbiology and fungi in your brain, the stone ape theory and mushrooms, whatever it was, we developed this intelligence and we learned. When we fight with the bear, if we eat the poppy, we don't feel the pain as much. It allows your body to heal. So we ate the poppy when we were in pain. The shaman learned that. The medicine men, the medicine women, they learned that. They took care of us. So your body, you could deal with the pain. Psychologically, you could make it through your body healing itself. Got your knee ripped out the socket, the bed, and ripped the muscles out, just all kind of tendons and blood everywhere. You're just looking like, oh Lord, I'm not gonna make it. Shaman, go get you some natural poppy. Your body knows what it is. The shaman knew how to prepare it. Means that you don't have any pain. So you could sit back without any side effects. Side effects. Y'all know what side effects are? Bloody anus, cancer, death. Just listen to the end of the pharmaceutical commercials. It's not like they even lie to people anymore. They tell you what's going to happen. You're going to die miserably, blood going to come out your eyes, snot flying everywhere. It's not going to be pretty. Side effects. Your body's way of telling you this is an alien compound. It should not be in my body. That's why I say we don't have an opioid crisis, people. Stop calling it that. Because you're blaming this natural compound these plants have made and our bodies evolved to work well together in times of pain. Opioid-ish. These are alien compounds. At the atomic level, they are not opioids. Somebody classified and say they were trying to make opioids, but they're not actually opioids. They're not compounds your body recognizes, thus the side effects. They don't know what they're doing. They're criminal organizations. They're poisoning your body, which is why the whole reason we're in Afghanistan. Get the opioids out. The Taliban were going through. Well, let me stop. Let me stop short, because I don't like to pretend like I know everything. I don't know everything. I know a few things. A piece of why we were in Afghanistan. Let me go to Afghanistan. Can we go to Afghanistan? With all the U.S. troops coming home saying, well, what'd you do in Afghanistan? We were fighting garden poppy fields, learned how to grow some drugs. Defended drugs. We defended the drug dealers. We defended them. They're just farmers. They're not the drug dealers. The drug dealers wear suits. They spend all their day in offices around your politicians, mostly Western nations. I don't know if there are nations outside the West. There might be. There might be some real nations out there, but there are no nations in the West. They're just different conglomerates of employees that work for big corporations. How did this happen? How did we lose our nations? And yet the children in adult costumes still run around screaming nations exist, still flying flags like these things still exist. How did this happen? Human beings, when we get upset, the citizens, what do? We get some crayons, some Sharpies. We start writing some signs. I watched a lot of my fellow live streamers, and I watch it, and I say, sometimes it's not sustainable doing this, focusing on this stuff. It'll drive you crazy. I see some of them kind of flipping out. Got to make this push sustainable. We got to get out in the streets and fight. No, I don't think that's the solution. Not me. I don't know. I don't like to disagree with people, but it's just, I don't think it's a solution. I think we got here doing that. I think that when you take out your crayons and your Sharpies and you come up with creative signs, I'm not laughing. I used to do that. I'm not laughing. Okay, I am laughing. But I used to do that. We go out in the street. We want this. We want this. Hey, ho, you gotta go. Hey, ho, you gotta go. Then we go home. Go back, work for the corporation the next day. And nothing changed. I think that's the problem. Citizens get mad. They get signs and they whine and they cry. And then they go work for the corporations. Citizens get mad. They yell at the government. And the government works for the corporations. All day long while you're working for the corporations, the lobbyists are in there with your government. Telling them where they got to go in order to get money, in order to get funding. Taking them to lunch, taking them to dinner. Sending the prettiest lobbyists they can find, the most handsome and gentlemen, writing the checks, paying, buying your politicians while you yell and scream at the politicians because you think nations still exist. And the corporations run the world. From a power perspective, nations do not exist, period. Governments are insignificant factors because the corporations saw it coming a long time ago. See, corporations, they don't get signs. They don't get the crayon box. Start getting some, they're gonna read this sign. Everything gonna change when we get this sign together. Corporations don't make signs, baby. They write checks. And money makes the world go round. Unfortunately, money's killing the world, but it is one of the factors spinning our flat planet. Spinning our flat planet around. Do flat earthers believe that does it spin? Do we spin? I think we spin on the back of the turtle. I think that's what it is. I think we spin on the back of the turtle. But that's how we got here. And I'm not interested in having what did Michelle say? Michelle said a parade. I'm not interested in having a yelling, screaming parade, whining and crying, holding hands, singing kumbaya, and nothing changing. If corporations run our government, we need to start saying truthful things like that. Corporations, I'm just picking on Big Pharma right now because Big Pharma is one of the most obvious ones. If they're going to kill 3,000 humans and we're going to go start invading countries that had actually nothing to do with 9/11, at what point do we invade Big Pharma? At what point do we invade big telecommunication companies? Let me get out of this field. I don't want to sit in this field. It's kind of depressing. I want to show you something. Let me show you. I think I got it. Is that it? No, I'm not sure. That's not it. No, that's not it. I want to show you something. So when you take a natural opioid, you get in this natural atomic setup. Let's go there. I'm not a chemist, not even pretend I am. But when you take synthetic, baby, it's not natural. So you get the side effects. So you get the pain relief, but you get all the addiction. Look at this behind me. This is a U.S. penny. It's one of the things that enslaves me in my country. So I'm a slave to. You know what that is on the right of it? It's called fentanyl. I think it's called fentanyl. Fentanyl. It is I don't really pay attention to a lot of this stuff. I look at crazy stuff. There's so much crazy stuff to look at. So I don't know today. I think it's fentanyl. That is a lethal dose right there. That's an overdose. That will kill you. And that is a penny. Tell me you can regulate that. Tell me you can stop that from coming in the country. Tell me you can stop people from dying from that. There is nothing more criminal than an organization that manufactures something that can kill you in that small dose and they sell it on the streets. Nothing more evil. Nothing more cold. But what did what's his name? What was his name? Man, I'm getting old. He sang Rick James. He said, cold-blooded. Nothing more cold-blooded than a corporation that will continue to sell you that. When you can have natural opioid, you can have natural poppies that heal your body, don't give you the side effects, don't make you as addicted. But that's why we're in Afghanistan. That's one of the big reasons for the war. So we went right to protecting the opioid fields. The Taliban was shutting it down. But America can't have that. We knew the synthetic opioids were coming out. We knew that we had to prepare for this. We had to get it going. And by the same time, as another little piece of evidence I'll put out there, then they banned kratom. Kratom, one of the natural ones that help you to get off of opioid addiction. Opioid-ish addiction. I don't want to confuse the natural compound with its evil, alien, unhuman, not evolved brother. Not even brother, not even in the family. Let me stop. Whoa, I'm going too far. Opioid-ish is not even in the family. Opioid-ish didn't evolve on this. It's an alien compound. It causes a lot of problems. It is sad, Jasmine. It's sad. But it's empowering too. It's empowering how easy we can fix our problems. It's empowering that our problems are in the mirror. It's empowering that we're here because we're bigots. That's what I've been talking about is bigots. I love the word. We all need to stand around and light a candle. Look at the world and admit our bigotry. That's why we're here. It's so easy to walk out of this. It's so easy. We're American bigots. We're black bigots. We're Britain bigots. White bigots, Irish bigots, Christian bigots, Muslim bigots, Islam bigots, all kind of bigots. What kind of bigot do you want to be? We're in a bigopocalypse. But nobody admits they're a bigot. Everyone's like, oh yeah, you're the bad ones. You're the others. We're the good people. Democrat bigots, left bigots, right bigots, Republican bigots, all kind of bigots. What kind of bigot you want to be? Keep the world going. Keep the world going. Human beings are losing. Losing. It's just sad. It's not even a fight. That's the scary thing. But it's a great thing. It's a great thing because we can stop any day we choose. We can stop believing in fantasy governments. We can stop believing in nations. We can stop believing in Santa Claus. We can grow up and say the Easter Bunny's not real. We can do this anytime we want. But we refuse. So I don't see it as sad. I see it as a great thing. It's horrible that people die, but it's a great thing that we can turn it around in a day, literally, in a day. This means you gotta hold your candle. Y'all remember those commercials? They hold the candle, they admit that they're alcoholics. Just hold your candle. Just say, I'm a bigot. That's it. I'm a bigot. I was raised to be a bigot. It's not really my fault necessarily. It's not my fault that I became one. I was just raised in a nation that made me a bigot. I was bigot-centric to my state. I was bigot-centric to my government, the political party I was told I was supposed to be. Bigot, just from all perspectives. You know, I didn't see other human beings as other human beings. And if we're all bigots fighting each other because we're better than you and you're less than we are, our people are more human than you, our mass shootings are a problem. The mass shootings we cause in your country, we don't really care about. And corporations take the whole kitty home. That's why nations don't exist. Governments don't exist. We didn't want them. We kept believing in them long past they became tyrannical, feudal, and disappeared and were bought by corporations in different industries. And we still believe it. You know, crazy stuff. We even got Israeli bigots. Yeah, we got Israeli bigots. We got the Palestinian bigots. We got all kinds of bigots. You know, got the Russian bigots. And now, did y'all see the new evidence that came out? I don't want this crack behind me. This is synthetic. That's worse than crack. I want the natural opioid behind me. So the new evidence came out and said the Israeli F-16s made in the United States actually did use the IL-20 as cover. The Russian government came out and said, well, Russian government, like I said, it's just like the American every other government. It's just a different breakdown of the corporations. But all the corporations and industries behind the Russian Defense Ministry really pissed off at Israel. So they came out, gave a news briefing. They showed the evidence. You can see the F-16s using the IL-20 as cover. They knew what was going to happen. Well, maybe they knew what was going to happen. But it was obviously disingenuous. It was a setup. It was a setup. Not that they meant for 15 Russians to die, but they died. So now Russia's happily selling. The Russian Defense Ministry, not the other portions of Russia that are working for the other corporations that are beholden to Israel, but those are selling the S-300. Not the S-400, but the S-300 to Israel. Interesting. I don't know that it means anything. You know, it may reduce what Israel can do, but Israel has the majority of United States technology and military power. It can get past the S-200, 300, 400, 500, but it's interesting. But we're all bigots, and so they can do this, and people die. We die, not they, we. Not the elites, us. We die. We. The IDF, the kids, raised in Israel, made bigots to hate everything that even looks Arab, everything that looks Palestinian. You can blame them. You can call them monsters, call them murderers. And all of that might be true. And why would they admit their bigotry if we don't admit ours? Kids in Palestine, who I tend to lean towards the most, right? Because people, usually when somebody dies, somebody's being shot, somebody's being murdered, usually you should probably listen to them first. Listen to the other side, but you probably should listen to the weakest side that's being murdered and killed first. But when we get out of our bigotry, we actually might make a good decision. We might say something like, corporations shouldn't have the ability to buy governments. Maybe corporations shouldn't exist, but is a corporation anyway? A gathering of people for a cause, a mission statement. And that mission statement usually is based in profit. You got to collect something. You got to side up against other people in order to get somewhere. And as long as we're siding up against each other, how do we get anywhere? How do we fix anything? Should corporations be allowed to trade internationally? Like, you know what? I post a lot of stuff by brother Ron Paul. I love him to death. Brother's been spot on about so much. It's just ridiculous. But nobody listens to him. They call him crazy. Bernie was right about a lot of stuff too. Ridiculous. Y'all call him crazy. But you don't get to be big and not get bought. Although I don't know how Ron has gotten away from it. But he'll say trade is good. Trade is good. Trade is good. It keeps nations from fighting. I don't think trade is necessarily good and keeps nations from fighting. I think some trade is good. Some trade is bad. Y'all know me. I'm against world trade agreements. I'm against them. I don't think nations should be trading in anything their people don't have in abundance. Why do I feel that? Because it makes corporations too big. It makes billionaires too powerful. It makes billionaires trillionaires. Trade wars are great things. They're good for sustainability. They're good for local business. They're good for keeping groups of people with mission statements small with less ability to murder people. I think that's a good thing. It keeps minimum resources in their hold where they can't buy governments and buy legislation and buy wars and buy the ability to bring more opiates in because the Taliban are trying to stop a crisis. It gives them the ability to force synthetic alien opioids in everybody's vein as opposed to natural medicines like cannabis and other things that our bodies evolved to take in. So no, I don't believe in global trade. What I do believe in is if your nation has it to the nth degree, if your citizens have it, if they have enough tomatoes, everybody got tomatoes, we don't even know what to do with them. Every little child, nobody's starving, they're just biting in tomatoes, then you can trade it. That's what I think. I don't think when the billionaire has too many tomatoes and he sold as many as he can for $4 each to the Americans, that he should be selling them to another country. Because there's little kids in the Appalachian Mountains, in the trailer parks, little kids in the barrio, in the ghetto, they want to eat tomatoes too. I think if you're going to be a nation, you should act like a nation. I'm not really interested in nations. I don't think one, they exist, but I get the whole local mentality. But no, you shouldn't be trading anything that your people don't have abundance in. Because that mentality right there tells you that you're not really a nation. It's just a bunch of people who live together, and the poor people believe they're a nation, and the poor people believe in politics, and the billionaire understands I can starve all of y'all. I can sell my tomatoes to anybody I want. Billionaires without borders. Poor people without critical thought. It's a scary thing. Christopher said the war is civil. Right. Right. The wars are civil. You know, we don't live in a civilized world. We don't live in a civil society. I think it was more civil in the past. It's not today. Completely not civil today. We're losing our minds. And then maybe that's why a lot of people take the opioids. Like I was listening to one of the police officers talk. He's talking about why people take opioids. It's because they lose their jobs. They don't have jobs. They need jobs. They don't have jobs. They take their opioids. I kind of agree. Makes sense. But that's a side effect. It's not the root cause. People take opioids because they're not happy. People take drugs because the same reason human beings have always taken these natural medicines. Not drugs, natural medicines, because they had pain. Losing a job, yes, causes anxiety, causes pain. We have a society that's orchestrated that makes survival illegal. You can't just have land and grow food and live peacefully. You have to go get a job, make money, and pay bills. You have to live in a forced labor society. So yeah, being forced to do what corporations want you to do, yeah, that'll give you pain because you can't live free. But also losing the ability to survive, that'll give you anxiety, drug use on both sides. Drug use on going in, a synthetic artificial high to keep you going to work, and a synthetic artificial high if you can't go to work. Win-win. That's what happened. That's why I say that human beings were on the ropes. Just jab after jab after jab, and we're not changing. I see now people like, who you gonna vote for? We're gonna vote for this person, we're gonna do this, what bigot you gonna vote for? Pick your favorite bigot. I think that's a bad idea. Some people say it's gotta be some sort of a violent revolution. I said, no, that's not it. That's not gonna solve anything. This is just gonna give us the same problem all over. No violent revolution has ever ended up being positive. It always ends up in just putting another king bigot on top of everything. Everybody gets on their bigoted sides. Whoever wins, they've got that authority to do whatever they want. I don't think we need violence. I think we need common sense. We need to look at the world and say this is a bad idea for corporations to actually be the nations. And that's how I see it. That's the way things are. From a power perspective, there is no nation that has any power over the biggest corporations in the world. The corporations determine who lives and who dies. They determine the genocide. They determine your health care. They determine who gets food. They determine who gets the famine. They determine everything. But you still got adults who acting like nations exist. Why? Somebody tell me, because I'm confused. I don't understand. Why do you still have adult human beings over the age of 26 that have fully functioning lobes still carrying flags and cheering? Why? Why do they can read. They know nations don't exist. They know nations stop existing. Why do they continue to pretend? There was something else that happened. Boggled my mind. I think I posted it this morning. I couldn't believe. Watching the news. European Union. Guess what they did? The European Union came out and they found a way around the U.S. embargo of trade to Iran. Now, y'all know those of you who can read and write, you know what Iran, the whole embargo thing is about, right? You know what sanctions are. Sanctions, they're to starve people so that people revolt. That's the whole purpose. It's to starve people so that people see their children dying and starving so that they'll actually revolt against their government. That's all it is. Stirring up dissension, killing people for a business plan. That's all it is. And so the European Union has found a way around it. I think they're crossing the T's and they're dotting the I's so European corporations continue to trade with Iran. It's just interesting. It's interesting. Some things have to be traded, right? Food, water, necessarily, things that save human lives that your people have enough of. But just the broad ban sanction saying nobody can trade with them is evil. Yeah, it kind of sounds like a contradiction when I think about it, but you have to think about trading from a perspective of saving human life versus filling coffers with greed. So the European Union is now supporting the troops. Imagine that. They're preventing a war. The European Union is supporting the troops, but the American patriots are supporting the corporations that run the fantasy nation with a fantasy flag and a fantasy pledge. The world is so weird. The world is it's just crazy. It's Brother Christopher said, herding sheep. That's all it is. That's all it is. That's all it is. The nation is a shepherd in that example. If you understand what he's saying. The nation is a shepherd and they've got that shepherd stick and they're just telling you go this way, you go that way, and people just fall right in. Why? Are we really this dumb? Should we really go extinct? Do we not understand what synthetic drugs are versus natural medicine? What your body understands and it works really well in your body? And all the stuff that corporation wants to sell, and they need to synthesize it. One, because they can't patent the compounds coming out of a plant. DEA's working on that. But the other thing is it's just cheaper to make it in a laboratory and automate it than to go grow food and patiently wait for it to be constructed by microbiology and plants in a healthy way that helps human beings. So they want to make it in a laboratory. The same reason that the manufactured meats are coming out. In another 10, 20 years, everybody will be eating meat grown in laboratories because it's just cheaper to do. They're hurting us. Daniil said, I have celiac disease along with a whole host of other problems and the doctors don't care that all their pills have gluten in them. That's interesting. That is interesting. Hold on, let me see. I should be taking them regardless. I'm considered a non-compliant patient. But we know why that is, Daniil. It's the same reason. Same exact reason. Great example. Thank you for that. The doctors don't care. They're not allowed to care. Well, let me be nice. I'm gonna be nice a little bit. I think the doctors care. The doctors are human too. They don't control the system. They don't write the laws. They don't determine the standard care and practice. They don't determine what the AMA does. They don't determine the drugs and the gluten that goes into these pills. They don't care. What they're saying to Neil is you are somebody on the fringe, you're someone on the outskirts, you fall into this category of we don't give a damn. And we can't do anything about it. The doctors are bigots too. They're bigots for the pharmaceutical companies. They're bigots for their cars. They're bigots for their income and their houses and their mortgage. They're bigots against you because you're a little poorer. You're in a lower class. So it's insignificant. It's always a percentage. And that's how they make the drugs. The drugs work for 40, 50, 60% of the population. So they're going to keep making that drug. They don't care what it does to you. That's why I think all the fixes are in the mirror. Every fix is in the mirror. How in the world does it make sense that a doctor tells you what you take? And I'm not a doctor. I don't pretend to be. I have no interest in doctors. I don't have a doctor. I'm not going to get a doctor. Yeah, if I get in a car accident, yeah, I'll be thanking them and I'll have a doctor then. But in terms of my health, when I stopped using them, I became healthy. You know, the celiac disease, and we know where that came from, right? That's that wheat belly stuff, right? You guys read the book Wheat Belly? Should read it. Kind of explained how they took wheat, real wheat that we evolved to eat. That's why I always like to go back to how we evolved. We ate real wheat and they replaced it with which was small, and they replaced it with a hybrid wheat. They bred it with a grass we didn't eat, and it brought along glycine protein, I think it's called gliadin, the gliadin protein, which we never ate, which is another compound that it did evolve here, but it didn't evolve in the human body. So we don't know what to do with it. And so it causes a lot of damage. Some people can deal with it, some people can't. But in general, it's never supposed to be in the human body at all. But hey, makes sense to use it in the manufacturing of pills, makes that process automatable somehow. And so they put it in all of it. They don't give a damn about anybody else. But then everybody eats all the breads and has all the problems. Gluten clogs up your villi, which means your body can't take in the nutrients. So it's not in a natural format. You can't heal yourself. Your immune system doesn't work as well. It's not getting the energy and the nutrition that it needs. Then you got to take more drugs. We're definitely in some sort of a gluten apocalypse. Completely agree. Completely agree. It's sick though. I'm sorry, I'm into YouTube. What are y'all saying on YouTube? I want to talk about drugs today, synthetic drugs. Keep the natural drugs from the people. Make them sick. Don't let them heal themselves. Don't let their body work how it's designed and evolved to do so, eating the things and taking the natural pain medicines that they've always taken, and force them to take laboratory manufactured, monstrous, alien, chemical, synthetic compounds that cause a lot of damage. Don't get me wrong. Some might be used for good on occasion. Some might save lives. But we don't focus on that. We don't get to make decisions because we don't have governments. And if we don't have governments who write the laws, they're just handed by corporations, then we're just victims. We're just victims. That's all we are. We all have to take responsibility for every decision we make. I'm responsible. I am empowered. I was raised the way. No empowerment for you. Exactly, Key, and I agree with that. We all have to take responsibility for our bigotry. We all got to take responsibility for our support in keeping corporations owning the world, keeping us all citizens of industries as opposed to citizens of government that we actually have say in. We all got to take our own accountability. That's what I'm saying. All of our fixes are in the mirror. That's why I'm not sad. All of our fixes are in the mirror. We can fix this any day we want. We can push the corporations out any day we want. You got to start saying things like, bring the trade war. Please bring it. We need it. We need to shrink the size of big corporations so we can have a little more say in what happens. The lobbyists are the ones pulling the strings of the politicians. Decision making. Exactly, Jamie. They are. You can elect anybody you want. Anybody you want. And it doesn't matter. The folks are cheered. They'll cheer it. I think it's laziness. I think I was watching, I forgot whose video it was last night. It was either Harsh or Ty. Just talking about laziness. People are just lazy. Why? They want to outsource decision making. They don't have time for decision. Who said Natasha? Responsibility, I ain't got no time for that. I got shiny things. Why I want to be responsible? Got a nice house, nice car, good life, good job. Why do I want to be responsible? I just want to look at my bigotry and say, oh, I'm supposed to vote Democrat. Look at my bigotry. Oh, I'm supposed to vote this. Oh, look at my bigotry. Oh, I'm supposed to vote for this religion. This group supports that. so I can go live my life and just trust the government to do what it wants. That's why I get in trouble. And I say I love Trump as a president. I do. People still don't get it. I do. Because he makes you not trust your government. That is a good thing. Good thing. You're never supposed to trust your government. Never. Because they'll always go to lobbyists. They'll always go to corporations if you trust them. And every decision they make will be against you, not for you. It'll have a pretty name. It'll say your name. It'll say, this is Natasha's law. This is for Natasha. We're going to take care of this. And the law is just for corporations to make profit. Because people are lazy. They don't want to solve their own problems. They don't want to get focused. They got to watch football. They got to play video games. They got to go live their lives. They got to go to work. People are lazy. And I agree with that. And it's a scary thing. But people have to take responsibility. I'm not saying voting works, but I'm saying I'm not saying who you should vote for. But I will say you should already know who you shouldn't vote for. You should be, if you ever watched three of anybody's videos in this group of live streamers, you should know I shouldn't be voting for a murderous group. If you're in a murderous cartel, you can't have my vote. Doesn't mean that the other vote will work, but you should know who you shouldn't vote for. You should know if you walk in, somebody in front of you in the line says, oh man, I stepped in some bear poo, man. Watch your step. It's right behind the rock. When the rock is coming, lift your foot up. Don't step in the poo of a cartel that's actually just handing your nation, law by law, your freedom, your rights, your liberty, the lives and deaths of other citizens around the world under your military, the lives of the people in your prison who just wanted to get rid of the pain and take a natural medicine, putting them in cages. If you see the bear poo, lift your foot up. Doesn't mean that we're going to get to where we're supposed to be going, but it means you won't have bear poo on your shoe. Let me see. Our society encouraged us to be self-centered. It does, Kevin. And this is what I'm saying. This is what thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you, brother. Because I don't see you as often as I used to. Our society encourages us to be bigots. Proud bigots. We just get proud of our bigotry. They taught me to put my fist up. They taught me to wear a dashiki. They taught me I had an African medallion. They taught I had an afro, brother Kevin. Picking it up. I had the afro pick with the fork. Oh man, I was rough as a kid. They taught me to be a proud bigot. And then I went to college. I met a lot of people from Africa. And they didn't like me. They didn't like us. Confused child, little black child running around this college full of Africans. And I got African medallions and pants on. They're looking at me like, you are just a sad, lost creature. You have nothing to do with Africa. You're not even from Africa. We don't know what the hell you are. You're some sort of a crazy Cherokee, Irish, African hybrid. You're not one of us. And I'm glad I felt that way. I think it was the beginnings of a journey of waking up to my bigotry, my given self-centeredness. That ended up in a voyage of understanding that I wasn't what they said I was. Why would you do that to a child? Why? And I'm not talking about parents. I'm talking about us as a society. Why would you do that to a child? Why would you call a child Irish? Why would you call a child Egyptian? Why would you call a child British? Damn it, we're not even gonna get into the crayon colors that y'all call these little beautiful babies. It's sick, it's ill, it's mentally ill to give a child bigotry. Maybe that's a question. Would kids grow up to be bigots if we didn't make them? I don't think so. Historically, I don't think bigotry was a thing. Can you actually be in a tribe and not put your tribe first? Now people say, oh, I can be this and I can be proud of this. Doesn't mean that I hate you. Can you? I mean, that name alone, like psychologically, when somebody calls you a thing and you embrace that I am this thing, Can you actually disassociate yourself from being unequal? Different doesn't mean unequal. In hard times, it always does. I mean, you might be right, I guess, in good times, but in bad times, don't like stick to like. Isn't that how it works? People lie to you. We lie to each other and we say it's good. Why do I do this? I do this because truth is powerful. Truth doesn't need anybody's support. Truth doesn't need anybody's explanation. So I keep coming on here and telling everybody I'm a bigot, but I'm a recovering bigot. Doing the best that I can, listening to everybody I can. I want to get to know my brothers and my sisters from all over the world. I wish I got to know the little girl from Yemen. They wade in the bucket who's now dead. And I try to make decisions that are not based in bigotry, that are not based in indifference. I try to pretend now. I stopped going along with people pretending they gave a damn with anything Martin Luther King said, give a damn with anything John Lennon or Mahatma Gandhi or anybody said. We come together, we can solve all the problems in the world. We stay apart, we continue to hand it to corporations. That's why I got the beautiful poppy behind me. Because we are in an opioid-ish crisis. We are murdering people and we're going to spread that all over the world. All over the world. Get people addicted. You know, the synthetic opioid-ish compounds, they can be up to 1,000 times more potent, more powerful than the natural opioid. You look at the poppy and you think, oh, it's just evil. It's not evil. It's natural. It's helpful. It helps prevent addiction to more powerful synthetic laboratory-made opiates, but we can't make any choices in stopping it. We're all divided. Poor people fighting poor people. So corporations run away with everything. Kia said from YouTube, if my tribe does something that doesn't fit my morals, I do not consent. I think that's the only way it could work, Kia. I think it's the only way. I think it's the only way that a person could be in a tribe and still be human and not be a bigot. This is possible. Maybe somebody can have a label as a bigot. Not sure why anybody would want a label as a bigot, but I guess it's possible. But you got to have integrity, right? You have to have that ability to actually walk away when your tribe does something that's evil. And the scary thing, Kia, though, is I don't think a lot of people have the ability to do that, because all I see is bigots holding their lines, right? That's all I see. I see in my country, I see the Democrats holding their line. I see the Russians holding their line. I see the right holding their line. I see Israelis holding their line. I even see Jewish, not Zionists, I even see some Jewish people linking up with the Zionists because the whole world was taught to label them all Jewish and be anti-Semitic. And so we can't even heal and have a conversation about reality of what's happening in Israel because we got our bigotry rolling. And we're all one world family, like Lori just said. All one world family. But that's what division is. It's a powerful thing. You can build an empire. You can take over a nation. You can destroy a country. You can destroy a planet. This level of bigotry. Like we were talking about the plastic yesterday. China stopping the import of all the cheap plastic from around the world. Guess who's coming next? Not like we don't see it coming. We see it coming. We know that these corporations are destroying the planet. We see it coming. Thailand. I think it's Thailand, right? Don't get me on fake news. Fake news is easy to get on. You can just fall right on fake news. Fake news everywhere. Hold on. Make sure I got the right company or the right nation-ish. Is Thailand a nation? I don't know. I don't think so. Because a lot of third world countries, Thai's not really totally third world. They're really, really developed. But in terms of power, they're too small. If they want to be a nation, they probably don't have the rights because big corporations, if they can buy the American military and government, they damn sure they could buy the whole country of Thailand on just a napkin. That's a lunchtime conversation for Big Pharma. But Thailand banned small electronics. So they don't want your plastics no more. Thailand said the keyboards, the monitors, all the small electronics, they don't even want that from y'all. Wasteful society. We can't do anything about it. What do we do? Fix your keyboard. Clean your keyboard. Stop taking your keyboard out in the garden. I'm not going to stop doing that. I do that all the time. I'm sorry, I do. But I clean my keyboard. My keyboard breaks, I fix it. Thailand said they don't want that crap anymore. Very easy that the governments could start getting ready. They could start getting ready. All right, well, we got to stop being wasteful with electronics. We got to stop throwing all these TVs away. We got to stop throwing these cell phones. Maybe we can use legislation for once in our miserable career to actually help something with the environment. Not to pretend to help, but to actually help. Maybe we need to write some legislation that says, you know what? You can, I don't know, maybe you can only buy one laptop for every so often. Maybe all the laptops have to go to a recycling thing. Maybe they allocate some money for people who are taking these laptops, they're refitting them for schools. They're refitting them for the poor folks. Why in the world do poor people, here's another good question. Why in the hell can you be allowed to throw a laptop away that works? We got poor kids in our country that don't have laptops. How does that make any sense? We're wasteful. We throw everything away. But we see it coming. Thailand's warning us now. We're not going to do this anymore. We're not taking your trash. We're not taking your electronic garbage anymore. Imagine if we listened and we actually stopped buying small electronics and we started repairing them and we started utilizing them to maximum efficiency throughout our countries. It means we buy less minerals. Oh, the corporations wouldn't have a need for the manufacturing of minerals anymore. They wouldn't have a need for coltan to be, how much is coltan now? $55 a pound? I don't know what it is. That might be chicken. I don't know what that is. It might be tomatoes or something. But imagine that. If they didn't need the coltan, and how would the corporations respond? They wouldn't have to buy the American military to go murder people in that country and to lower the price of the minerals. Imagine that. Imagine how sustainability actually works. When you're smart and you're wise, you live within your own means, you repair things. The devastation around the world starts to disappear. The power that corporations have over our world starts to dissipate. It really is that simple. We got to pay attention and we got to act. Not your Sharpies, man. Not your crayon signs. They laugh at that. They don't care anything about that. Now, there might be a time to get in the streets. It's not right now. People don't even know what they are. People are still proud bigots on all sides. People have to be able to focus at the real problem. People have to stop buying this crap. They have to stop working for the corporations that are causing the problems. Why would you protest the problem and the corporations actually buy the problems? They invade the nations, they keep the slavery because you keep upgrading your phone. You keep buying. So why don't we pay attention and do these things? Oh, we get Trump out, we're going to solve the world's problems. No, actually, I think you're going to make the world's problems worse. That's what I think. Trump scares you. And it's important to be scared. Putin scares a lot of people in Russia. It's important to be scared. It's important for people to not trust their government. Because when you trust your government is required to do bad things. It's that simple. It's a requirement. It's not even their choice. There's always a power play. There's always a power vacuum when you have lazy people. You take your power and you stop using your power, force your government to do good things, someone's gonna pay them to do bad things. That's simple. Not hard, not rocket science. Nations don't exist. Haven't existed for a very long time. Age of Credulous said, we have been domesticated. We have. We're good puppies. We listen, we whine. We're like good dogs. We are, and that's a good example. We're domesticated dogs. Because a dog, you can beat the hell out of it, and it'll keep coming back. It'll keep coming back. You come home, beat the hell out of it, it'll come home. Government comes back, Democrats come back, the left comes back, the right comes back, whatever bigot group you have comes back, and you lick the leg, start wagging your tail, get all excited, get some shiny things. You're happy. Bought a new dog toy, all is forgiven. They give us shiny things, and we just keep going along with it, domesticated. You know, along with that example, analogy, I like the dog fight analogy. I like the dog fight analogy. If nations ever do exist again, if we ever get back to that place, The citizens are supposed to be the ones holding the leashes, right? Like, think about two dogs getting ready to fight, just growling, getting ready to get into it in a dog fight pit. And you got the people who are actually the citizens who are holding the military's back, the citizens who are holding the government's back. I think our governments are rabid. They're evil. They have militaries that can do a lot of murder and devastation around the world. And we're supposed to be the ones holding them back. And the only reason we would hold our nations back from murdering millions of people is because we don't trust them. But when we trust them, when we outsource common sense to them, they're going to do what the corporations tell them to do. I like that analogy. We're supposed to be restraining our government, not cheering our government. It's not what patriots do. People get confused when I talk about Rambo. I try to explain my Rambo explanation. Rambo, kid went in the military, didn't know what he was doing, thought he was going to be fighting to help people, realized the goal was murdering people, came back. He had disdain for the war criminals that sent him into war. He didn't cheer them when they died. He was against them. He actually became a patriot for his neighbors and the people around him, that this thing is an evil thing and I'm not going to support this thing. He wasn't a nationalist. And that's a kind of a crazy example because it's fantasy. It's fantasy from a Rambo perspective, but it's real from a soldier perspective. We're filling them up in prisons. They're homeless. We're not taken care of. We don't give a damn. They can't even use natural medicines. I never had money or family. 42 now. I'm not sure what you mean, Natasha, but we're all family. Got 7 billion family members around this planet. Money, I don't think anybody should have. Money's going away. Tell people all the time, they still want to have these money solutions. Money was instrumental in causing a lot of this. Like, money's not evil, but the idea of having money in bank accounts, it requires evil exist, and it exists to infinite amounts, right? Because if you have an infinite bank account, you have infinite ability to do evil. And I think you take away that ability. We actually have no need for money. We can take care of everybody. We can feed everybody. We can house everybody. We can make sure all the kids have everything they need. Any day we choose to do that, we can. We just got to look in the mirror. Stop being bigots. We got to start saying that the other people's kids are just as important as my kids. And we can fix it all. But that all requires choice. It all requires us to grow up a little bit. It all requires us to stop pretending big businesses don't run the world. It requires us to give a damn about the 200,000 people that have died from the synthetic opioid-ish laboratory-made crisis and take our world back. That's it. It's not your world. It's not your world, corporation, so I'm not going to work for you. I'm not going to buy from you. And sometimes people are forced to, so I'm forced to do some minimal supporting of it. But for the most part, I'm not going to keep doing this. Christmas is coming up. I'm not going to cry about the toy trade war. I'm gonna make my kids something. I'm gonna start teaching my kids they don't need to have all this new electronic junk made of plastic and small electronics. The plastics that's filling the oceans and the small electronics made from minerals that require slavery on every continent on this planet. Money is not evil when we put it before life. It's being used for evil. Exactly, Jasmine. Money's not evil. But you can't ever put it between human beings and survival, or it will always be used for evil. You can't let it be in existence between a human being and its life. You have to not be a bigot and look at these kids all around the world that are starving and make them a little more important than your shiny things. Make them a little more important than your job. Make them a little more important than the lifestyle you want for your children. Understanding that your kids will have food and water and safety. The kids around the world won't. Not if we continue in this direction. For the love of money is evil. We should all be equal. We should, Brother Daniel. We should. The love of money is the root of all evil. People love it. They like to pretend they don't, Daniel, but they do. They like to pretend they don't worship it, but they do. You know how I know, Daniel? I look at people when they go to, I look at people when they pray to their gods. They don't have the same look when they get the paycheck. They don't. I look at the love in their eye when they look at their politicians and their leaders. They don't have the same love when they look at their God. They worship money. They worship power. They worship these politicians. They worship the politicians. That's why I said, I think politics it brings about a condition of mental illness. People have mental illness where they can't see anything important. They can't see anything that's meaningful. They lack the ability to prioritize what's important in life. And a lot of people pay the supreme cost because of it, because bigotry, unfortunately, is making the world go around. Let me see. You want everybody to be equal. Communism is based on that ideology. Obviously, it didn't work for many countries. I agree, Yvonne. I don't disagree with that. Communism doesn't work. I'm going to say it again. Communism does not work. I'm going to say it again. Communism has never worked, and it doesn't work. Neither does socialism, neither does capitalism. Anytime you have a crony world where a small group of people have all the power, all the money, all the military, all the access to survival for all the human beings, it will always be crony, which means it'll always be evil, and it'll be against the 90%. I am not a communist. I am not a socialist. I'm not a capitalist. I'm a person who says y'all shouldn't be killing people. You shouldn't be murdering people. You shouldn't be raping people. And I'm not talking to Ivana. I'm talking to everybody. I'm saying that rape is a bad idea. And anything that empowers rape needs to go away. Money does that. Capitalism does that. Communism does that. What doesn't do that is true equality. You've never had a form of government where people are actually equal. But now we have the first time where we can make that. We can put our resources towards robots that are actually making the houses, the cars, the food, the water, taking care of people, even doing medical procedures. We can allocate resources to that any day we want. But in order to do that, we got to be human beings again. In order to be a human being again, you got to get rid of your bigotry. You got to hold a candle up to your face, look in the mirror, and just admit you're a bigot. I'm a bigot. Been a bigot a long time. Not really my fault. I was raised to be a bigot, but now I'm starting to see all my bigotry. I'm gonna be a recovering bigot. And I'm gonna go get to know the people who I'm supposed to hate, who I'm not supposed to like, the people my government and corporations say are my enemy, the people my bigoted groups, my political parties, my bigoted religions, my bigoted everything are telling me I shouldn't be talking to. It's how you fight bigotry, is you do the exact opposite of what the bigots want you to do. And that's how we build an equal world. We build an equal world when you do to others what you want done to you. When you only allow others to do to other kids what you would allow to be done to your kids, your grandkids, your nieces, your nephews. That's how equality is built. And we've never had that. But we can have it any day we choose. Any day we choose. He said humanism, humanitarianism. And that's really what it comes down to. We just got to go back to being human beings. We got to go back to live and let live. Not kill because we don't like you or we don't know you. We're okay with it. I'm looking for the last comment, then I'm going to run. The teacher is self-serving. The teacher is self-serving. The student will challenge his philosophy, Plato versus Socrates. We do got to get back to philosophy. You know me, I believe in our philosophical brothers and sisters leading us forward, thinking about the future. We definitely need more philosophers in our societies. We need to think forward. Can't just keep making technology, keep moving forward, and not questioning where forward goes. Like this morning, I went to the grocery store, and I always avoid the automated checkout. So I figured I'd share that with people. You know, one of the things you can do is stop using automated checkouts. I'll use it if the lines are full, but for the most part, start going in that direction. We're not ready for this stuff yet. It's not being used for us. It's being used to take jobs from clerks and checkout clerks. Why would you do that? Checkout clerks' lives matter. They need to feed their children. We're just not ready for this automation because it's not being used for us. It's being used for big corporations and greed, and it needs to go away. Peace, love, and light all. Love always. Consciousness, an enlightening day. Yeah, I'm gonna end with Mary. We got to go back to being conscious creatures. We got to have a conscience. We got to act like we have a conscience. If you're going to vote, you need to vote with a conscience. And if voting with your conscience is voting for military industrial complexes, maybe that's not a conscience. Maybe that's just bigotry. We do have to find a conscience. We have to find our ability to tap into more meaningful, valuable belief systems, not bigotry. Not because I was born, I birthed bigots. Maybe that's the right word, because I was born this way and I'm gonna be this way and I'm okay with whatever y'all do to anybody else who's not like me. That has to go away. So the opioid-ish crisis is a real thing, but it's not opioids, it's opioid-ish. These are alien compounds being put in people that's murdering them. It needs to stop, it needs to go away. The troops that are forcing opioid growth and farming in Afghanistan need to come home. It all needs to stop. And it all can stop any day we choose. We just got to choose to stop it. We just got to go back to being human beings. Anyway, this is Gerard. Big business is killing the planet. I think we should look at what our world looks like without big business. Have a great day. Love y'all now.